the American way of life we have come to know and love is in real danger of evaporating right before our very eyes. Socialism is at our doorstep. Actually, it's just around the corner, unless we put a strong conservative in the Oval Office. Have someone in mind that might enjoy listening to the show, especially a young person that needs to hear a conservative message. Tell them how to subscribe or send them to the About page. This will provide methods of subscribing to the show, and that is www.oldguardaudio.com/about. Let me know what you think of the show. Send me an email at john@oldguardaudio.com. I will not add you to any email spam list. Again, thank you for making the show a success. We are listened to now in over 70 countries, and I am praying that God will richly bless you and yours. Thank you again. This is John Haynes.
Thank you, Senator Sessions. Ms. Saldaña, welcome. The last hearing we had that you testified, we discussed in 2013 how the Obama administration had released over 104,000 criminal illegal aliens. At that hearing, you misstated that number by a factor of over 2. And indeed, in 2013, we discussed how the Obama administration released 193 illegal aliens with homicide convictions, 426 sexual assault convictions, 303 kidnapping convictions, 1,075 aggravated assault convictions, 1,160 stolen vehicle convictions, 9,187 dangerous drug convictions, 16,070 drunk or drugged driving convictions, and 303 flight escape convictions. At that hearing, I asked you how many murderers and rapists here illegally was the Obama administration releasing, and you did not know.
I think you asked for the day before?
Yes.
Yes. I did not know that specific number for the day before.
So let me ask you, in the several months since that last hearing, how many murderers here illegally has the administration released?
Well, you missed the part, sir, earlier when I discussed the fact when you say the Obama administration released, and I presume you're talking about ICE and the agency that enforces the immigration laws. You missed my testimony earlier where I discussed that 2/3 of these releases for 2015 were not within the control of ICE. The immigration courts, we don't play in this sandbox alone. The immigration courts are a big part of that.
Ms. Saldaña, I asked a specific question. How many murderers has the administration released?
In the last year, let me give it to you by fiscal year 15, I believe there are homicide related. That's not just murder, that's negligent homicide, etc. There are about 197, I believe.
197 in the last year. How about sexual assaults?
Sexual assaults, we have a chart broken down by crime, sir. I don't have that chart with me, but we can certainly provide it to you.
And does that include drunk driving? Do you know how
yes,
many
it
drunk
does.
driving? Well, since the hearing last July, the administration has released information that indicates it's even worse than what we discussed in July. In particular, Senator Sessions and I, along with several other senators on this committee, sent a letter to Secretary Johnson asking about ICE's so-called priority enforcement program. And in response to that letter, you, on behalf of the Secretary, sent us a letter on October 26, 2015. A letter that, without objection, I'd like to introduce into the record. In that letter, the administration made a number of rather stunning admissions. That letter indicated that at the end of fiscal year 2015, there are 918,369 non-detained illegal aliens who are present in the United States or on their own recognizance have been ordered to leave the country by a final order of removal but haven't done so. That means there are essentially almost 1 million known illegal aliens who've been ordered to leave that haven't done so and are living freely here. Why is ICE not deporting those 1 million illegal aliens?
Senator, that part of my answer before when I talked about this issue. We have a number of obstacles in our way to remove people. We cannot remove people without a final order of removal.
All of those have final orders of removal.
May I finish?
I'm just pointing out that the first obstacle you listed is not relevant to the 918,369 that have final orders of removal.
May I finish?
Please do. Final
order of removal and appropriate travel documents. I just do not believe, sir, you're from the great state of Texas, where we understand the real world. And I can't believe you would think that either I myself, who have spent 10 years, even before I came here, as a United States attorney and assistant United States attorney in Texas, running down every criminal I could and putting them in prison for as long as I could, based on the justification of the crime, that you would think that the women and men of ICE or myself would turn their backs on the deportation of a criminal alien who needed to be removed. We are removing everyone we can under the law. This law provides for a lot of due process and a lot of avenues for requesting relief. Every decision we make can be looked at by an immigration judge and reversed or enhanced or decreased. It is not just, there are so many...
Ms. Saldaña, with respect, what you are saying there consists of non sequiturs. Your first response was you needed a final order of deportation, which we have over 900,000 who've already received that. And I will tell you, I speak over and over again to ICE agents, to Border Patrol officers who are demoralized, who are dispirited by the political leadership of the Obama administration that doesn't let them do their jobs. Over and over again in the state of Texas, I speak to brave men and women that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Let's look further. You said we should not impugn the willingness to enforce the law. There are roughly 1 million illegal aliens that have orders of deportation that you have not deported, but that's not just that. Beyond that, of the 36,007 criminal illegal aliens that ICE freed from custody in fiscal year 2013, 1,000 of them have gone on to commit new crimes. So these are criminal illegal aliens released from custody that have committed new crimes. Of those 1,000, how many of those have been deported?
I don't have that number readily at hand. I can run that down for you, sir, and get it to you.
Between fiscal year 2009 and fiscal year 2015, the Obama administration released 6,151 criminal aliens who were specifically convicted of a sexual offense. Why is ICE releasing any illegal aliens who have been convicted of a sexual offense?
Sir, you missed that part of my testimony earlier. Before your arrival here, I explained clearly that about 2/3 of the folks who have been released, you keep referring to the Obama administration releasing them. That is really a mischaracterization and is misleading to the public. About 2/3 of those were either under the Zabadas United States Supreme Court decision, which we follow the law and the Supreme Court.
Excuse me a second. You said you follow the law. Help me understand then why President Obama has issued executive amnesty refusing to follow the law. Which one is it? Does the administration follow the law, or if the president disagrees with the law, does he say he will ignore it?
You and I have a disagreement with respect to that constitutionality. You know that the Department of Justice has issued an opinion with respect to that. And I'll tell you this, sir. You also missed my testimony that there is a there is a complex act here that does not leave us a whole lot of room for, probably every illegal alien could be removed. But that's 12 million people, or 15 million, depending on what estimate you look at. I don't think anybody who thinks that we can go about rounding up people with a $6.5 billion budget, as generous as that is and as grateful as I am for it, believes that we can go and do that under that budget. There are reasons to make wise and smart and effective immigration priorities, which the Secretary announced last November 20th. We're going about it in a smart way. We are not sacrificing children when we can remove a criminal alien. Any criminal alien that has not been removed, I feel fairly confident. There is a very good explanation that comes under this very statute that the Senate and the House has left us with. I have called for and will continue until I leave, the day I leave this office, to beg you all to consider comprehensive immigration reform, not just finish one aspect or the other.
I recognize that politically, the administration supports amnesty for people who are here illegally. The American people don't agree with the administration on that. You are charged with following the law that Congress has actually passed, not the policy views of President Obama that contradicts the law. Now, you mentioned a minute ago that ICE could deport the 12 million people here illegally. Why is it not doing so? Why is it not enforcing the law?
I haven't run the numbers, sir, but I believe the Congressional Budget Office has, and we're talking about billions and billions of dollars to do that. That is
Ms.
not
Saldaña,
practical, and that is, quite frankly, not very smart.
Okay, it's not smart to enforce federal law that requires those here illegally to be deported. Ms. Saldaña, let me ask you, when Bill Clinton...
You're playing games with words, Senator Cruz, and I'm trying to help the American public and this committee
by ignoring the law, you are not helping the American public by ignoring the law. And let me ask you a question, Ms. Saldaña. You said it's not very smart and it's impractical to enforce the law. How many aliens...
That's not what I said.
How many aliens did the Bill Clinton administration deport?
I don't know, sir. I didn't work with that administration.
Well, let me answer the question for you. In 8 years, the Bill Clinton administration deported 12,290,905. Now, is it the position of the Obama administration that the Bill Clinton administration was not very smart because it deported 12 million people?
Is it the position of the... Are you serious about this question?
You just said it's not very smart to use ICE's resources to follow federal law and deport criminal aliens who are here illegally.
You're misrepresenting my testimony.
Well, then you tell me what you said was not very smart.
What I said was, we cannot, just as a United States attorney, I could not enforce 3,000 laws, including Migratory Fowl Act, with 100 attorneys covering 100,000 square miles. You know North Texas and my jurisdictions and 100 counties. I had to make tough decisions. Did I want every person who had broken the law, one of those 3,000 federal laws, to be punished accordingly? Yes, I did. But
Ms. Saldaña, if the Clinton administration could enforce the laws and deport over 12 million people with a smaller budget than your budget, why is the Obama administration unable or unwilling to enforce the law and do the same?
I beg to differ with you, sir, but this administration is enforcing the law, and it's enforcing it in a very smart way with respect to the resources that we have.
And Ms. Saldaña, if this administration is enforcing the law, what should President Obama say to Kate Steinle's parents? What should President Obama say to Kate Steinle's father, who held his daughter in his arms and heard her last words, "Help me, Daddy"?
I don't know what the Obama administration would do, but I met with Jim and Brad Steinle. I met with them and was extraordinarily impressed by them. They expressed their views and feelings to me. I listened. I admired their stamina and their ability to, in their moments of mourning and grief, to be able to articulate to me what a beautiful person she was and how they would like to see some changes, which is exactly how I opened this testimony. I would like to see changes to the entire immigration system code, which supports a system that is broken and that just is not effective. And yet we don't seem to be getting that movement from Congress.
And Ms. Saldaña, when you met with the Steinle family, did you apologize to them on behalf of the president for his supporting policies that have created sanctuary cities across this country that led directly to the murder of their daughter?
I disagree with you that that's a statement of fact, sir, and I did not express that.
So you did not apologize?
I did express my condolences for their loss.
But condolences are one thing. Apologizing for the direct consequences of the failures of the Obama administration policies are another. I'm curious, after meeting with Kate Steinle's family, do you now support Kate's Law, the legislation I introduced, to prevent another young woman like Kate Steinle from being murdered from an aggravated felon re-entering this country over and over and over again and being welcomed into a sanctuary city like San Francisco?
I support a whole restructuring of this statute, sir. That's what I support. I do not believe that piecemeal efforts here and there, Band-Aids placed on this massive problem is going to do it without comprehensive immigration reform.
So, Ms. Saldaña,
I'd like to see you support that.
Ms. Saldaña, I want to understand your testimony correctly. Are you saying no, you do not support Kate's Law?
You also missed my testimony as to why I cannot support an effort to, I believe that's the one that increases the...
It is a mandatory minimum of 5 years for an aggravated felon who illegally re-enters this country, just like the murderer who murdered Kate Steinle.
Last time I checked, there was very close to a majority of illegal aliens in our current prisons. And I think you're very much aware of the state of our current prisons and the fact that they're busting at the seams.
So your position is there isn't room in prison for aggravated felons and murderers?
I do not believe that increasing the minimum penalty is going to be the most effective thing. The most effective thing to do with our immigration laws is to reform the entire code.
So I want to make sure that I understand the answer to your question. Your answer, if I understand it correctly, is no, you do not support Kate's Law. Is that correct?
I don't support just putting a Band-Aid on the issue. I think we ought to have the backbone.
Ms. Saldaña, you're a very experienced lawyer. You know how not to answer a question. I'm asking a very simple yes or no. Do you support Kate's Law?
I've already answered, sir.
Is your answer no?
I've already answered, sir.
All right. You want to play games? That's fine. I will say, an administration that refuses to follow the law, that releases murderers, rapists, violent criminals, that has roughly 1 million illegal aliens subject to orders of deportation, and yet you say you can't enforce the law. There is a reason the American people are so frustrated with law enforcement officials that are charged with protecting them, who refuse to do their duty. And I will say on behalf of thousands of ICE officers and agents, and on behalf of thousands of Border Patrol agents who are frustrated out of their minds at a political administration that will not let them enforce the laws. The American people are ready for leaders that take seriously the obligation to protect this country.
Well, there you have it. I am so glad you chose to be a part of Ogard Audio today. Do me a big favor and tell someone